the partnership strategy was for every different vertical we're going to go into, find the people that understood, knew about the vertical, knew how to apply our technology in a way to delight their customers. Hi there, Mike Kosik, CEO, XYZ Interactive. I'm a Mars incubator kind of graduate, and I mentor at the Founder Institute as well here in Toronto, and I'm often called upon to get my insight on partnerships and negotiations. So I'll tell you a little bit about our story, but I kind of want to cover some of these items because I find they come across a lot in the one-to-one discussions that I have. So I'll give you an overview of who we are, talk about why we chose licensing right out of the gate, and then talk about some of these concepts. XYZ Interactive, we have a sensor technology for touchless 3D and gesture control that we license to manufacturers who want to put it into their products. So this means that we don't actually have a product, but we rely heavily on partnerships or other companies to put our technology into their products. Our pitch is very simple. Add touchless and gesture control to your product for the cost of a cup of regular coffee. We chose the licensing business model because it's very scalable. So my co-founder and I, he's a mathematician from Waterloo, had this kind of shared vision years ago. We got together. He's ex-Nortel. He left Nortel, developed the technology kind of in his basement, far ahead of his time. And then we looked at it and said, okay, this has got legs, but we're not hardware guys. We don't make actual sensors, but we developed this sensor technology using off-the-shelf components. So the best strategy for us is going to be to find manufacturers who can then take our methods and implement them in their products. So we had the choice of going, so how do we organize ourselves? So this is, you can keep your IP and your have trade secrets and then encapsulate those in technology and sell it off. Or you can go down the patenting route, which is what we did. So a patent is essentially a recipe for somebody who is adequately skilled in the art to reproduce the invention. So we started down this path, and it's a long path. We had to I had to kind of go out and start convincing companies to, that our technology was valid, that they should start forming partnerships with us and put our technology in the products before the patents were even issued. This technology could be applied in a lot of different verticals. So the business development philosophy at the beginning was, for finding some of the partnerships, was trying to understand, what the match was for our technology. So, there was a lot of other technologies out there. This particular one was very low cost, so that means we had to go for big volumes, which means there were, only certain, mass consumer products. So, different verticals had different times or methods of integrating or pulling in new technology. But a lot of it came down to finding the right partners, finding the people who understood and wanted to take a look at the technology. At the beginning, it was a lot of the business development philosophy was, I can't convince you that this is something you need, right? You can't push on rope, right? But we started talking, we started getting some interest, and make a long story short, we started getting these partnerships, and these partnerships varied for different reasons. So the partnership strategy was for every different vertical we're going to go into, find the people that understood, knew about the vertical, knew how to apply our technology in a way to delight their customers. So we weren't experts in toys, or we weren't experts in lighting, or we weren't experts in robotics or the maker market. So we really focused on one kind of key partner in each vertical to start off our understanding. And then from there, we can decide, okay, are we going to take that next step and go for an exclusive partnership, or are we going to serve everybody in the vertical? But as a small company, it's a lot easier having a few good partners than many mediocre ones. And I think that you can't underestimate the amount of effort it requires to develop that that good partnership. So since this was our decision from the start, having that bias up front saying, look, we're looking for longer-term partners that will deeply push our technology and our joint agenda together was really important. Yeah, if you look at it as a zero-sum game, which it is not in negotiation, maybe it would be better to say, no, we're going to sell this to everyone, and that's just a better way to do it. So that's in play. This was the first product we launched with WOW, or rather WOW launched with our technology. So MIP uses our sensor as his low-cost vision system. Fantastic, made toy of the year. It's great. So they really had the amazing ability to add these play patterns using our technology into the toy. We can say, yeah, this is how it works. This is good, but they're the ones that have all the expertise in actually bringing something like that to market. So that's what made it a really good partnership. So we said, okay, in the whole exclusive versus non-exclusive discussion, we said, okay, the lowest depth of the relationship is when it's kind of non-exclusive. They're just buying your technology. They're going to use it in their product. But we said, okay, you know what? Regardless of how deep we go, we'll give you exclusivity for this particular type of toy for a period of time, right? So this was an incentive for them to partner and take a bet on a nascent technology company. And so there was that real kind of trade-off. We're both getting something really important out of it. With lighting, we're now starting down. This is a company that's launching a gesture switch into the market. It just got certified. Sparkfun, I like the Sparkfun story. Boulder, Colorado engineer, 2002, wanted to make things, found it really difficult to find the things he wanted to make, like the bits. So he said, I'm going to solve that problem instead. I think a few years ago he did, $400 or $500 million worth of bits on his website. Arduinos, BeagleBones, servicing that hacker market. Now, when we look at that market, we don't have the time as a small company to service or interact with a lot of these individual inventors, but that's his business, right? So he wants to sell. He doesn't want an order for 100,000 sensors. We want an order for 100,000 sensors or 100,000 products with our technology in it. What he wants to do is have 100,000 unique customers come to his site and then cross-sell them other things. So again, it was real alignment here of the two different business models or intents, and that was really important when we had that initial discussion, and it formed the basis of that partnership. So there's, when you get it right, when you have that good partnership, it's a snowball effect in within. So Mipisor was launched last year. Rev was also launched last year. This uses the next version of our technology that we also launched. This is the machine-to-machine version. So it's not just gesture sensing and passive sensing we have technology, but we have this active beacon technology where these cars know where they are in relation to each other. And again, WOW adds this amazing gameplay where you can set the cars on AI and they autonomously follow each other, chase each other, and shoot each other, which is great. So this came to market last year, and now we're getting the same tech into drones and cars. Chip is amazing, did really well at CES. So Chip has got a wearable that he follows. He follows this ball using the beacon sense technology. And again, part of the partnership and negotiation deal was, okay, what's really important to us? We wanted to build these kind of product manager-facing brands. So Gesture Sense and Beacon Sense, they're just a market-friendly way to say passive and active versions of our technology, right? But we wanted to build those brands to start developing this partner ecosystem that went beyond toys. So one of the big things for us was, okay, well, you're a retail company, your stuff sells at Walmart, Target, Toys R Us. It'd be nice to have our brand, see our little brand on the shelf, especially because we're an enabling technology. So this is kind of like Intel Inside for us, right? If that resonates with you. So having those logos on the packaging was a big part of the value that we essentially were trading off at the beginning. And I'm not going to get into details on the cost that was used or what we ended up. Automotive, we're an automotive. So when I look now at the next markets, our next challenge is what are we going to do in wearables? What are we going to do in robotics? And who are we going to partner with? What are we going to do in retail analytics? Because this is another place our technology can be used, really low-cost sensors at the shelf level. What are we going to do in retail displays? Now, each of these different verticals have different ecosystem structures, like if you, in retail analytics. So, who are we selling to? Are we selling to shelf manufacturers or to the brands themselves or the stores? I don't really, I mean, I have an idea, but it's not my ecosystem, right? So you really want to find the partner that makes sense at the beginning, that you can do that first demo or proof of concept that can validate your product in that particular market. And then you have to ask yourself the question of, are they the same partner at the beginning that you want to be in business, or who can take your product beyond, that demo, that local Toronto demo to, well, there's a lot of shelves out there in the world, right? Or there's a lot of light switches out there in the world, right? So when you're in enabling technology and you make a very little off of each piece, you have to be thinking that longer term game. And if they're not a long-term partner, then don't pretend they are from the beginning. You be very transparent, as we are. Like we know that I know the difficulty of selling a product or a concept before you have a physical prototype. Now I go into meetings, I pull out toys, I pull out light switches, I go, hey, look, it works. Somebody else took our technology, made it into a product. Selling these days is a lot easier. Partnering is not. Right? So yeah, you have to have some of the experiences, and of course you do get burnt or you make mistakes. That's totally normal. But trying to figure out what you want out of it is key. So in retail, we're doing that. Robotics, wearables continue to be challenges. So I want to get back to the agenda and just to talk about some of the early challenges. So kind of ungranted versus granted IP. If you're looking to exit with an enabling technology, then your granted IP has more value than ungranted IP. I think that for us it was much more than just having a piece of paper that said we're applying for a patent, which we've since got in more than one country. But it was our ability to convince a particular partner that we can add value in the process, and that nobody else could. So that was part of it. Concept demo versus the working prototype. Again, it was very difficult at the beginning, as I mentioned before, not having a physical good to point to. And if you've done partnerships or other deals, for us, because we're multi-vertical, if you've done a partnership with another company or another vertical, you can use that in your discussion with a potential new partner. You can say, well, this is why we've organized ourselves this way, and we've found that it's been very successful working with this partner in this particular way. And that has credibility, so that there's a huge kind of power of precedence when you're talking, because it's rational, right? You want to sit and you want to develop that ongoing relationship that enables you to grow with that partner. They want to know that you're rational, that you're making decisions in a way that's consistent. All of these things they want to see. First deal pricing, yeah. So how do you figure out what things are worth when there's no comparables? So there's a part of it is you try to really put yourself in the shoes of your counterpart and understand what they're getting out of it. So if you think about the electronics industry, for example, there's some psychological barriers. If any part is more than 99 cents, there's a real issue. In the toy business, there's kind of comparables around inventor licensing for a certain percentage. Those are all reference points. They're anchors, and then you move from there. So try to gather as many of these and build your rational argument to yourself before you go into that negotiation. NRE versus licensing revenue. NRE means kind of one time. So just if the deal revolves a lot around cash flow, which it probably does as if you're a small business, then understand the company that you're partnering with and understand what's more important to them or what hurts them more from a cash out perspective. Is it giving money up front or giving money after they've been successful? So a lot of that comes down to understanding the reward system in place for the particular individual if they're in that company, to say, okay, actually it looks better for me if I don't spend anything up front, but we can make up for it in the end. So or to be honest about your own cash needs as a startup. I'm a small company. You know what? We have some investment, but the investment, the business model we chose when we got the investment structured, we said we're getting a certain amount of money up front from each company, that's each new customer. I'm kind of locked into that. Can you help me out with that? So you can be kind of transparent about some of that at the beginning, and you're going to end up at a better result from a negotiation perspective. Exclusivity. So this is, this is in the same way that there are different depths of engagement in the partnership. This is definitely a tool that has value. Again, if you're in licensing, this is a little bit more specific to licensing. So we've decided for exclusivity to start looking at that as a model to support the verticals that we're going to go into. So the partner I'm looking for in retail, ultimately, if they had the capacity to deliver on the exclusive market, which is global, then that's something that should be part of the deal. If they don't, then I want to make sure that that I've structured my licensing in a way with the first demo company that isn't going to hinder or destroy value when I go exclusive later on. So key items in your licensing agreement, make sure you have the ability to audit. So you're giving away quite often control from a retail perspective. Sometimes you just get sent sales reports and you get a percentage of their sales. So understand and have that clause in there so that you can come and take a look and ensure that the visibility and the transparency that you should have been using to get to a good deal continues after you've signed the deal, right? Because you really want to grow with that customer, and if there are issues around transparency, then that's a big red flag, right? And I think I already talked a little bit about the power of precedence. So for us, a big thing with the deal is to say, hey, look, this structure worked really well for us with our lighting partner, and as we look at this entire new market, we want to take on that same structure.